Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Sky Factory numero 3. We are here for our solo episode today, so do remember to go check out Rendog's channel. There'll be another episode available for you over on his channel. And I've been doing a little bit of lag busting, but not too much else in between episodes. Let's fly over the edge here, drop down towards the void, and carefully make our way over to this platform. That's right, we can fly because of the angel ring, which I have in my inventory. If you didn't catch that, the last episode, me and Ren showed you a really cool and quite easy way to actually get yourself flight in this game, which is awesome. But what you'll notice about this platform is that there are torches at the top here. And I've been having some FPS issues. Basically, we are getting so many items from this system that it very quickly backs up, fills up the chest. You end up with tons of XP and items on the ground. So to collect more of the XP, I've moved this thing over the back here. However, its range is 9 blocks, and I believe that it is not 9 blocks out like this. It is 9 in either direction, so it probably only goes as far as that. And if we look on the inside, look, some of the XP is still on the ground. So we need to make a couple more absorption hoppers, and we need to get them into the experience obelisks. There'll be some fluid conduits and stuff like that down here. But now that I've disabled the farm through the means of the torches and letting the sunlight in, the FPS issues have gone away. Now you might be thinking, why didn't you just turn off the farm? I did that, but so many mobs were spawning down here. It's so efficient that they themselves would cause some issues as well. But things are all good now, and we can focus on what we're doing in this episode, which will be building a few more platforms and also working on the chickens over here, because we have got ourselves a valuable resource thanks to this fella right here, who's going to be dropping some more slimes in about 1.5 minutes. Let's go see what we got so far. 4 slime balls, that's pretty naff, but loads of slime chicken eggs. And we're going to start breeding these together so that they drop down better eggs. In fact, that's a good one to start with because it's got 3 on all of the stats. And that's about as good as it's going to get. Do you know what? I think we'll go with these ones right here. Let's get 4 of those hatched in the middle. So we're also going to work on the storage system for all of this. What you'll see is that these chickens pump out a ridiculous amount of items. Look at all of that stuff. What are we going to do with it? It's mainly eggs, and I think we're going to end up voiding a lot of eggs. But we need to sort out the storage. And down here, I've started to set up a little something that's going to help us. I also put an extra one of these down here. And this thing, as soon as I placed it, it literally just filled up so quickly. Now, I've caught this a couple of times. It's unlikely we're going to catch it. But if you look, actually right there, look at Walia at the top. So you see the slots. This thing has 5 slots and it can hold, a stack of items in each. In fact, they're all like that now because it's so backed up. So as soon as I added that thing, all of the items just pile out of each of these nesting pens. So we need to sort these items out. A lot are going to get voided. A lot are going to be put into this storage system. And we got a drawer controller down the bottom here. And I wanted to do a little bit of an experiment because I've used these before, but I've never used it with blocks alongside. Now, the idea of a drawer controller is that it links up with all the other drawers, but I've instinctively always gone and put them above this thing. So, little experiment, does it work with ones on the side? That is the question. All we've got to do is set this thing to extract, this one over here to insert, and let's see what happens. The items should come in pretty quickly. Yes, immediately it works with the ones on the side. That's pretty cool to know. And this is going to be a problem, right? Because we've got some chicken eggs in there from the redstone ones, but they have different properties. So that one's got 1, 1, 1. If we had any that had like that, 2, 3, 3, they're not going to stack with those ones right there. So we're going to end up with a whole bunch of problems due to the way these items work. And that's the fun. That's the challenge for me. We're going to try and solve those problems. Now, you guys have been absolutely loving the loot crates. Been reading the comments. It seems like y'all really like to see us crank open some of those loot crates, is what I call them. Chance cubes, and we've got isohedrons here. At the end of this episode, we've got 15 of these. I'm going to open 2 at the same time. Now, if one of those is destructive, it might end up destroying something really good we get with the other. Who knows what is going to happen, but I'm going to put them in here where they'll be safe for now, and at the end of this one, we're going to crank open 2 of those. By the power and the magic of video editing, we have spun ourselves into the future, and I have finished building the rest of the nesting pens. Not anything terribly exciting to comment on too far. We got some more of our slimes over here, our slime chickens, and these guys should have probably have grown up by now, but maybe not. I'm not sure how long it's actually been. Nope, you're still a baby. The thing with these guys is they grow up into adults when they're in here, but you have to take them out and plop them back down on the ground again. So I've got to keep my eye on that. If we go down below, I'm encountering a little bit of a problem. My plan was to have all of these transfer nodes. And by the way, Ender IO conduits don't work with the ones up there before you go suggesting that we should use those instead. But we're going to end up with a very big network, and that means it's going to take a long time for each of these transfer nodes to go all the way around here and then all the way over there and into here, which will be the central point, so we don't have to run a big Ender IO line. Now when it comes to the items that we've all gathered up already, we're probably going to deal with those later, so they'll just be left beside and we'll start a new storage system. I'm just not sure how to get these working efficiently, but this is our storage drawers right here. You can actually put this one block up as well. I thought I'd figured that one out, so they don't have to be above, they can be level, and it will look below as well. And these are two items right here that every single chicken lays exclusively, right? But everything else that they lay will be an egg of a different type or a different item. So the eggs are going to go into one other system, and then the items like the red dye over here are going to go into this bit. And I tell you what, there's an idea. Now Ren needs some dyes for his his epic bacon farm up here, and he went the route of creating a bone meal farm over here and then using these dyes to craft up other dyes, right? There's a crafting machine here. We should make him some chickens that drop all those dyes and store them down here, and then that's going to make his life a lot easier. We got another mini project for this episode, don't you think? Yeah, so all items like that are going to come into this wall right here. We're going to try and get as many different chicken types and items stored here as we can. But then the trick is to move the eggs somewhere else. And at the moment, I'm thinking I'm probably just going to make a massive group of storage crates and maybe some filter systems to void them once they become full. Something like that. Basically, the egg side management is going to be pretty ugly. So this is such a crazy cool project. I've really been enjoying this. And I like that we focused on something quite achievable. Rather than all of the materials that these chickens can farm, we can now get a whole set of 16 dyes. And check this guy out over here. This is the ink black chicken. And he looks a little bit grey, I know what you're thinking. And this one over here is the grey chicken. Now, I'm having a bit of deja vu here, but is it me, or do they look exactly the same? They really do. The only way to tell is by looking at Walia at the top. And they're about to do some drops in a few seconds as well. And also, they're already holding on to a few items. I wonder how those transfer nodes are doing, because I've hooked everything up down below. And yes, the idea here is to put the colourful ones in the middle, which is really cool. And it also makes wiring things up down below look a little bit neater. As you can see, we have these cables going from... They are cables, no, they're pipes. That's the one, pipes are going across like that from each of the sections and around to the back here. This is where we have a crate that kind of stores everything. So if ever we decide, do you know what, I want to start collecting some eggs, this is the place where they are going to accumulate. But the thing is, for right now, I don't want this thing to fill up all the way. So I actually want to get rid of some of these eggs. Let's grab one of them, and I want to have a look at the ID. It's 6053. Here's where something could go horribly wrong for us. Yeah, they are all the same ID, 6053. So I'm hoping that that means that we can put this here. Oh yes, and we're avoiding feathers and chicken manure over on this side. On the other side, we will be keeping it. So we're going to put that there, and we should see that all of those type disappear from up above. Maybe, I think one there just disappeared. But now we're going to ignore the meta. I get it right eventually, metadata. And I'm hoping that'll zap all of these things away, but that's clearly not happening. Now let's double check this thing is active. I mean, we're seeing it working with other things. Alright, so let's go and try the cyan one, because I also see cyan ones over here. We're going to leave this right here, because this thing's also got MBT data now that I think about it. So there are two that match. If we go back into here, those two are gone, but the other cyan ones are still here. So it's probably got something to do with MBT data as well, right? And I think there is a type of item filter that can do that as well, which would be the advanced one. And that requires, a Z logic controller. I think you can get those from a loot bag though, so maybe we can get lucky with one of those. And round the front here you can see that we set up a little panel for all of the dyes as well. So loot bags ain't going to save us, but there is this item filter from extra utilities, and this one with a basic filter we can choose to do that. And of course the recipe, so much cheaper and saving us a lot of time. So over on this side we're going to slap that thing in there and see if this is going to work. It's got a very short journey over to this trash can, so it should be nice and fast. And that looks promising. I'm seeing the number go down. And that is for the cactus green. Now for the ink black. Excellent. So we have a way of getting rid of all of these eggs that we don't want to keep. That's fantastic. Okay, and I've got a few more dies here to pick out and put on the wall at the front. And everything here is just going pretty smooth at the moment, isn't it? So all of our dies are in place, and it's actually taken me a little bit of time to optimize this, because there's a trick that you can do with the wrench, and that is to click on a pipe and sort of create a one-way system. Now this was a little bit confusing to me, because I kind of expected it to be like this. You click on that bit there, and that's saying that you can go through this way, but you can't go through that way, which is fine, but actually it's not quite. You've got to look at it like the items are coming to the pipe and you're saying you can come in this way, but you can't go out the other way. Hopefully that explanation makes sense for you if you're doing the same thing. So you can see now what I'm doing is I'm clicking around the edges of these pipes because we're saying to items coming in that they can't go out through those ways and that they've got to come downwards like that, right? And I've checked this by watching what each of these are doing because it's going to tell you these numbers will change. Can we find one that doesn't have... Well, there you go. Now that I've fixed it, they've all picked up the items and moved them on, but this one's still working. So you can see that currently it is looking down this line right here, and eventually it's going to find the end, turn to the side, and that orange star will make its way into the system. It's been nothing but chickens, chickens, chickens so far, and I think we'll move on to building another platform. We're going to build it in that space over there, and it's going to be used for enchanting because I need to make a silk touch pick, as down here we're going to be building a nesting area. Now, we have been using... Do I have them in my inventory? Yep, the hatchery nests. Remember those? They were down on the ground. We were growing up the little chickies, and then they would wander off, and I'm thinking they should have an area down below, and I think they should have some grass as well. So, on the other side of these fences that I've installed, we're going to have a grassing area, and we're also going to fence it off like this. And then there'll be a block that we're going to put down in the middle, and that will actually take baby chickens from one side. When they've grown into adults, it'll move them through to the other side. So that means we can use the chicken feeders again, as these things are actually useless for ones that are sitting in the nesting hens. So they'll be put to use, and they will feed the chickens, help them grow up, and then they'll go through into this area ready for us to move them around. So that's going to be nice and convenient. You can see that I've lined this up though with these things on either side, which I think gives a real cool vibe down here. And also we've set up another filtering system. So if I just put my eyes up here, you'll see that there are, loads of those little markers telling it to go around in a one direction system. So it should find its way around to here very efficiently. And now this thing is going to put some of the items into this, and the rest of them are basically going to get voided into here using another one of those item filters. This thing has been put together so quickly. Now that we can fly, now that I can actually remember to use our diamond wand, things are just going really smoothly here with the building. And what Ren's done over on this side, and I actually need to clean up a little bit for him right here, is he's used this mineral log. So there are some trees from a mod which is called Natura, that's the one, and this Sakura wood is also from the same mod. Now that made for some really nice blue planks over here, and also some really nice log textures on the outside. So we're going to repeat the success of that platform over here using another one of the woods from that mod, right? And then each of the next two platforms, so these four that are going to be in these corners, will then use a different type of wood each time, and they'll have a different colour, which I think is going to look really, really cool. So this is what the bottom area is going to look like, and then in order to place the next log, we need to put some temporary blocks like this and place them alongside. And then it should all end up looking pretty cool. Now, when it comes to the planks that these ones are using, the colour is a little bit pale. I do like it, actually. I think this texture would look great in vanilla, but it's a little bit, not very colourful, a little bit bland and plain. But it'll go in there just fine. Now, another thing, you see that little yellow X? I've actually run out of torches. We are torch spamming a fair amount on this game, and it's starting to look a little bit ugly. Now, I think the cobblestone walls with the torch in the corner and the two at the entrance, that's looking good. And this stuff will probably get changed out for something else later on as well. As me and Ren are both keen on aesthetics, but early on in Sky Factory, you've got to work with what you've got. And the glowstone isn't the best of textures to work with, and I'm hoping to replace those a little bit later as well. Let's actually grab some of our glowstone. Let's also make another stack of the logs, and let's see if these are going to look good next to other. I'm just gonna slap them in like here. I know they don't make too much sense, but we're going to slap them in like that. We're going to fill up the rest of this platform using the diamond wand. That's the way the pros do it. And it kind of looks alright, but nothing special. At least it doesn't look hideous, you know what I mean? So we'll light this thing up with some glowstone as well. Man, this platform is looking pretty amazing, and what we're going to put in it is actually not a lot at all, but something I'd like to show you is the view from the mini-map. Doesn't that look so cool? It looks like pixel art, and it shows you there's a load of fancy things going on in each area. I do like it, especially the see-through bit over here. And I do wonder if we should also extend these so they got a basement like the other ones, but it kind of makes them unique. And they need to be like that so that there's no solid blocks. These are opaque, because they're quite clear glass, and there needs to be no solid blocks above the mob farms. Oh, it is just typical me, isn't it? After I've made these bookshelves and a new platform, just to put in the enchantment table for now, we'll probably move it around later. I remember that with Tinker's tools you can make a silky jewel using an emerald, right? And some other items as well. And that would be a easier way to get silk touch, because now we've got to do the enchanting gamble. And I was thinking, I know someone's going to tell me that, oh, instead of using the bookshelf, you should have used this thing and that thing from this mod and that mod, and it would have done it better. And I was thinking, well, I don't know what those things are at the moment, so don't even worry about it. However, I do. I know about the Tinker's one, so I've been a bit of a derp. No surprise there, right? And now we can do an enchantment, but I don't have a pick. And also, I don't think Silk Touch is one that you do at 30 levels, but we'll give it a shot and see what we can get from this thing. Isn't it just fitting right now that we can get an ink sac from what we've been building over here? We can get a feather, and we can also get a slime ball. Now, you might not be following me here, but I've made an enchanter from Ender.io, so with 13 levels of XP, 13 lapis, I believe, if I remember correctly, and a book and quill, which I can craft over here, we'll be able to make ourselves a Silk Touch book, which means we can put it onto a pick and grab Silk Touch. And that's actually another really convenient way of getting it. So we're not going to do the vanilla way, we're not going to do that gamble. We just need that, and as I said, the XP levels and the lapis. So I'm going to head down here and grab some experience from our experience obelisk, which has been moved around to the back, and I think I showed you that earlier on, right? Gotta say, I really like how this room looks. I know there's not a lot in it, but I know there's something nice about this and where it rests in the room. All we gotta do is chuck that in there, some of that over here, and a slime ball, and we get ourselves a Silk Touch book. Amazing. Just in case I never mentioned it, an item like a torch will actually block the fan from pushing across, which is what many of you pointed out to me. So we're going to correct that inefficiency. That one went into the void. It's okay, we'll pick up the next one. We're going to put glowstone there instead, and then the fan can push directly over the top. Still waiting for that grass to spread, but I think it's been a successful mission down here. And I did a little bit of experimenting as well. So you want the baby chickens on this side over here, and it will actually support a 4x3 area. So 3 across and 4 blocks back, but I just went with 3x3 for simplicity. This is here to feed the baby chickens, then they'll get moved to adults when they're on this side. So there is actually a step I've missed here, which is to throw down some of the nests that go on the ground that they can sit in, and then, you know, the eggs will hatch into the babies and grow up using this system. There is also this that I've missed over here. Decided to remove those because they were kind of making it difficult to get around the room, and we're very close to tidying up the last of the chests. At the moment we're emptying this one here. Let's click on that. There you go. It's blitzing through there, which is really cool. And these Ender.io conduits, they start from like slot 0 and go all the way across the very last one, and then they go back to the beginning again, which is quite different from vanilla. But the entire reason that we worked on this project today and accidentally stumbled into doing this was simply just to get ourselves some slime balls. So I'm going to grab these and show you what we're going to use them for. This crafting bench is super weird. It's just this one, but my frame's gonna go really bad. You can sort of see it when I like click on this, and if I like try and double click the items out of there, it's, oh, that time I got it, but it goes super laggy as soon as I look inside here. It's so bizarre. That's modded for you though, isn't it? And anyway, the entire time we have been trying to get slime balls is to mix them with blaze powder so we can make magma creams, which makes magma blocks. And of course, what do you do with magma blocks? You throw them down on the ground and you use them, and we're just going to put them here in the middle of the room, obnoxiously. I'll probably move them later on. We're going to use them to create fire water. I actually mentioned that to Ren, didn't I, in another episode? So if you're wondering what on earth I was on about, well, this is the stuff right here. We take water, we put it into a barrel, and immediately you can see that it is transforming, and it's going to transform into fire water. Now, if I remember correctly, this can speed up a crucible by 8 times. And I've also been told there's some other blocks that might be able to speed it up even further than that, but we increase the efficiency of our energy production over here by changing this over to netherrack. So these things are times 4. Now we're going to double it. Now we're going to double it all the way up to times 8, and we're going to use the fire water to do that. Look at this. The one in the middle is transforming faster. These two are going faster than the one on the edge. I'm going to guess the reason for that is that it's looking at the magma block and seeing how many are like connected to it. Maybe there's like a 3x3 scan, so there's 2 on this side, and then on this one, well, actually that wouldn't quite make sense, would it? Because this one would see 4 blocks. I'm not sure what the math behind that is, but clearly the one in the middle is going faster. So I'm really unsure about ripping out loads of blocks over here to place these in, and then I thought of a really great idea on how you can place the block in and keep the water from flowing out, right? If we use glass panes, the hitbox here is just going to be ideal for looking up and placing one of these fire waters. Now, the other thing that the fire water is going to do is spread, so it's going to flow over like it's doing right there. If we then go up to the top, you'll see that this one is now going to run at 8 times efficiency. The one next to it is 7, which is still better, and then 7 again, 6, 5, and so actually, like overall, it's probably doing a little bit better. But we're going to make sure that there is a fire water bleh, source under each of these. With that taken care of, it is time for me to deliver on my promise. At the beginning of this video, I said that I would crank open 2 of these at the same time. We're going to right-click one, then right-click the other. I'm definitely going to use my pendant, which has so far been actually quite decent for us. And we're going to put these items in here, because we don't want them getting destroyed. Who knows what could happen? Potentially something bad, potentially something good. Let's hope for the best, okay? 1 and 2, and I'm going to watch this one from up here in the sky. Hopefully I'm a safe distance away from whatever horrors are going to come out of here. And, moment of truth. Oh no, TNT! Crazy it's TNT on bats! Jeez! And what was that other thing? We'll never know what came out of the other one. Wait a minute. Did it just add more ore on the top of that? Maybe I'm seeing things. Maybe I'm looking up and the world up there is loading. So that was kind of anticlimactic, wasn't it? We'll never know what that other thing was. It looked like one bad thing came out of there and blew up whatever the other thing created. And there goes my nether portal. How am I going to get home? Oh no, we got no flint and steel. I'm going to have to call on Rendog to come and help me. Wait a minute. I was too hasty there to conclude that I was stuck here. But anyway, that's it from me this episode. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like. As always, thank you for your support. And I will be seeing you in the next episode. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.